So what exactly is a fossil? A fossil, in the broader sense of the word, is any preserved remains of any prehistoric life. This can be anything from a woolly mammoth preserved in ice to tracks left behind in mud that become fossilised. The most common use of the term is in the petrification or turning to stone of shells and bones. When these prehistoric animals died millions of years ago, the flesh decayed or was eaten fairly rapidly, leaving just the bones or the shells behind. These remains were then covered with a layer of sediment or otherwise buried. Once buried, water then penetrates the remains and deposits minerals carried in the water within the remains, sometimes completely replacing the remains, other times just embedding the minerals in gaps or pores within the remains. This process then turns what was bone or shell into stone. This does mean that these forms have little or no organic matter left behind, and certainly no DNA. There are, however, two methods where substantial amounts of organic material can be preserved when the creature is buried within the earth. It's all down to the conditions surrounding it when it died. The first method is being popularised in a well-known film is when tree sap encases the animal just before it dies. The tree sap then hardens to form amber, which preserves and seals whatever was inside it. The problem is that only relatively small creatures like insects can be preserved in this way due to the relatively small amount of tree sap produced. Larger specimens, however, can be preserved when they were trapped shortly before death in tar pits. The tar, just like the tree sap, solidifies and cases the subject and protects it. In this way, large specimens can be fairly well preserved, at least from the relatively recent prehistoric past. When you consider how difficult it actually is to retain remains from prehistoric life, the question really shouldn't be why have so few fossils actually been found out of all the billions of creatures that lived on the earth. In fact, it should be more that it's actually so lucky that we've actually found so many and actually have got quite a complete historic record of all of the animals, or at least large proportions of them, going back through time. So that is fossils.